Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight Podcast, where we're celebrating the most joyous time of year, Christmas. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan. And what was your favorite thing that you got this Christmas?
I got a new board game. It's called Root. It kind of fucking rules.
Nice.
Plays little woodland guys. One of the factions is you're just a raccoon going around stealing shit from other people.
That does sound dope.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I got orchestra seating to watch Lord of the Rings on the big screen with an orchestra playing.
That's pretty cool. I've heard about is it at some like crazy theater or something?
It's at Radio City Music Hall.
That's a pretty crazy.
There you
theater.
go.
Yeah. And like when my partner went to get them, she was like, hey, so I checked the other day and they had like $35 tickets available. And now those are gone. So we're sitting like third row orchestra for like $185 each. And I'm like, you did not need to do that. But also that fucks.
Do you have to like be dressed fancy?
I'm going to dress fancy. I mean, she only has one mode and that's goth. So
fair.
Yeah, we'll see how fancy. I mean, goth can go fancy.
Well, like, yeah, I was gonna say there's multiple goths. There's the old school goths that sort of leaned into like the Victorian styles, more velvet and shit. And then there's the early aughts goth, which is a lot of cheap pleather and spikes.
No. This is she's more Victorian goth, and she also has a lot of like real ass fur coats.
Okay.
So I'm very excited as to what happens there.
So like a Depeche Mode goth.
Yes.
Okay.
But also, since you didn't ask me how I was doing and I had a joke lined up for it.
How are you doing?
I feel like I have 2 tickets to paradise.
There you go. Very, very nice.
I thought about that on the drive home today and was just like, Ryan's going to have that and I'm going to be so mad.
I did not have that. I was trying to work something in to talk about Master of Disguise, Dana Carvey's worst movie, but I couldn't make it work.
Oh, here. It's Ryan. How are you feeling today? Yeah, I'm not feeling turtly enough for this turtle.
Not very turtly.
That is a joke that I have made very recently while watching this movie. Someone was like, oh, how is it? I'm like, Dana Carvey's just not turtly enough.
So Master of Disguise, fun fact about that is at one point in time, I can't remember what. Oh, that's right. I had like young cousins visiting and that was their favorite movie. So I saw that movie like 20 times in the span of a week.
Oh, man, that's something that always like drives me crazy about being around little kids. They want to watch the same movie over and over and over again.
See, my particular brand of mental issues means I'm capable of doing that handily. But I usually need sort of autocratic control over what that film is. But with the Master of Disguise thing, it was kind of like, I know this isn't a real thing or it's been debunked or whatever, but I ended up having like a Stockholm syndrome response to it, where by the end I was like, this is pretty funny. I don't know why.
Okay, now there is a bit in Master of Disguise that I like, which is, do you remember when Dana Carvey gets like his like assistant and it's like this kind of stereotypical like sexy woman?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, her ass just isn't big enough.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're Italian.
Joke through the entire thing, yeah.
Yeah, is that he's Italian and therefore he likes big asses. And then like his ex is like a stereotypical, like you would see them on Real Housewives of New Jersey. But she has a gigantic ass, so that's why he's attracted to her. That's the only reason, and that is true of all Italians.
And the bad guy always farted in that movie. I remember.
Yeah.
I did not remember that. I just remembered the butt jokes, and of course the turtle club.
The turtle, yeah. That's the thing everybody remembers because it's just, it was there.
This might be incorrect, but Ryan, you might have to check me on this. Wasn't the Turtle Club scene filmed or set to film on 9/11?
Oh, did Dana Carvey do 9/11?
No, there was a thing about it though, if I'm remembering correctly. There is a specific 9/11 related story for Master of
Yes,
Disguise.
Dana Carvey apparently prayed about 9/11 while in his Master of Disguise turtle suit because it was during shooting.
Yo, that fucks. Real quick before we start talking about this movie. So, we were playing a game on Christmas Eve. I forget what it's called, but like, oh, it's called Hive Mind. If y'all don't know what hive mind is, it's like you have to like answer like questions. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It only matters that you agree with the most people, and that's how many points you get.
Okay.
And one of the questions was just name two towers.
Yeah.
And everybody put different things, so nobody got it. Except for my partner put Isengard and what was the second tower in the two towers?
I'm trying to remember. I don't have that knowledge in me anymore.
But like someone put the east and west towers, someone put the north and south. I just wrote 9/11 twice.
Jesus. But yeah, we are here today
to talk about Dana Carvey doing 9/11.
To discuss the film Trapped in Paradise, a 1995 film that's rated PG-13 and clocks in at a slightly laborious hour and 51 minutes.
Ooh, hang on. It's a 1994 film. It was released December 2nd, 1994. Didn't mean to correct you on that one. I just happened to be looking at it. Feel like an asshole now.
No, I said 94. Right?
You said 95.
No, I'm looking at my notes. I wrote 94.
I'll let you know when I'm doing the edit.
Yeah.
Because either I'm going to be right and sound like an asshole or be wrong and sound like an asshole. And either way, I'm okay with it.
Leave it all in. Just capture evidence of Rich gaslighting me. Now I kind of want to start doing that, correcting somebody, but they said it right the first time and just ruin their self-confidence.
I'm going to listen to this immediately as soon as we stop recording.
The two towers from Lord of the Rings are Cirith Ungol and Orthanc Saruman's tower.
Oh, okay.
I should have known Cirith Ungol because I fucking love the metal band that named themselves after that.
So let's hop right into housekeeping. So we have a director-writer combo, George Gallo, who has directed other films such as Double Take, Middlemen, The Poison Rose, The Comeback Trail, and The Ritual Killer, to name a few. The writing career is a little bit different in that, despite having written, I think, some of the films he directed, he also wrote Midnight Run, the original Bad Boys, and then received a character credit for the subsequent Bad Boys, though it doesn't appear that he worked directly on the screenplay, and The Whole 10 Yards.
But not The Whole 9 Yards, which...
Is The Whole 10 Yards a sequel?
It is.
Yeah,
yes.
It is.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Also, I did not know they made 3 sequels to Midnight Run.
I didn't either.
There's
1 o'clock
another
run,
Midnight Run, Midnight Run Around, and Midnight Run for Your Life.
That's solid.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, kind of interesting combo. Also, weird to have this on the CV, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to watch it later because a friend of the pod, Joey Pants, is in it.
Oh, yeah. He is.
Yeah.
Now, was this the director or the writer credit we just went on? Because it's the
writer.
Same guy. Writer, okay.
Yeah, we just finished the writer, who was also the director. I've said it before, but in case anybody is tuning into this for their first episode, when I have a director that directed and wrote it, I try and split up, if there's any daylight, between their writing credits and their director credits, which there is with this guy.
Yeah. His first movie is a movie called Wise Guys, starring Danny DeVito and Joe Piscopo, and I really want to watch it.
I've seen that. I remember that one being pretty all right.
Interesting. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, I just happened to see it. I'm just like, I like a mafia film. I like a Danny DeVito.
I like a wise guy.
So on to cast, we have, as always, man of the hour every hour, Nick Cage as Bill Firpo.
And it does bear mentioning that, according to John Lovitz, Cage also did some directing on this movie as well, because George Gallo just could not be bothered.
Didn't Lovitz also say like the cast hated working on this so much they frequently referred to the movie as trapped in
Trapped in
bullshit?
I thought it was
bullshit.
just
Yeah.
he. Oh, the cast hated the movie. Yeah, the cast. I thought it was just him. Uh,
Either wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, but also I like for George Gallo, like your leads are just three people who just utterly choose scenery. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Like
I
a
can
lot of like
see that being
this
hard.
a lot of the side characters too. Like there's a lot of chewed up scenery in this movie.
There is. There's a lot going on. So next up we have John Lovitz as Dave Furpo. John Lovitz has been in a bunch of stuff, including Rat Race, which was essentially just a remake of a Mad World. He was
I
in
like Rat Race. It's a pretty solid remake.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. The main reason why I don't despise Rat Race is because nobody I know is almost nobody I know has seen a Mad
Yeah.
World, and I actually saw that first because of my dad's love for really older cinema. But Rat Race did do a decent job capturing the story. But he was also in A League of Their Own, Happiness, the 2005 version of The Producers, 3,000 Miles to Graceland, and maybe not most notably, but pretty notably, The Critic. If you
That's what
recall,
I was going to shout out. That is my
Yeah.
most notable for John Lovitz.
I
I'll
figured that's
shout out his feud with Andy Dick.
Yes, he fucking wants to kill Andy Dick.
Yeah, he does.
isn't that most people with Andy Dick?
Well, he
Yeah,
wants
but
to
it's
murder
specifically
Andy Dick
because Andy Dick gave,
yeah.
what was it, Phil Hartman cocaine?
No,
Oh,
he
Who
gave
was it?
no, he essentially gave Phil Hartman's wife, who shot and killed him,
Right.
like the drugs that then that night, then she went and killed, you know, Hartman, and that's kind of fucked up.
It is, yeah.
that is
The
really fucked up.
the only thing I also say about John Lovett is it's one of my favorite names because I always get him mixed up with that awful podcast called Pod Save America. Because there's also a guy on there named John Lovett. There's also a guy on there named John Favreau, and it is not the same John Favreau. It is a
Does he
weird
always say
podcast.
John Favreau, no relation?
I don't know. I've never listened to the podcast.
You couldn't fucking pay me to listen to that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But
They wanted Hillary Clinton to win so bad.
real quick, speaking of Phil Hartman, I had a Jingle All the Way on my Christmas watch this year, and Hartman's character
Oh, he cucks the
in
whole
that-
neighborhood. It fucking rules.
is one of the most like infuriating to watch. He does such a good job
It's
of
really
making you
good.
despise the shit out of him.
Yeah, because he's in my house with my wife eating my cookies.
That phone call scene is so good. Anyway, moving on, we have Dana Carvey as Alvin Furpo. Dana Carvey, of course, from Wayne's World fame, also in The Master of Disguise. This is Spinal Tap, Little Nicky, and famous characters, of course, off and on through SNL's tenure, including Church Lady, as one of my personal favorites.
I always forget that he's in This Is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, he's the mime that says, come
Yeah.
on, mime is money.
I
I got one to shout out for him. I haven't seen it, but I noticed it on his IMDb, and it's fucking hilarious. He was on the Superman 50th anniversary TV special as Chief Historian Junior Superman of America.
saw that too. Is he just like
He's just a big Superman fan.
There you go. Okay, that's what I figured it was. I thought that was interesting. Next up, we have Paul Lazar. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
I'd say Lazar, personally.
Deputy Timmy Burnell, who was in Silence of the Lambs, Snowpiercer, the film, The Host, The Manchurian Candidate, and Mickey Blue Eyes, which was honestly one of my easiest. I was trying to explain to people the cross-eyed deputy, and I was like, he's been in a bunch of shit. And I started naming things, and it wasn't until I got to Mickey Blue Eyes that most people were like, oh yeah.
I'm kind of like weirded out that he was in The Host because I didn't realize it was The Host, the giant monster movie from Korea. He just plays like some random American in it.
Mm-hmm. Which is wild.
That movie fucking rules if you haven't seen it and you like
I
big,
have.
big monster shit.
I have. I did a double feature recently of that and The Bay, I think it was.
Oh,
Have you-
yeah.
Huh.
the Bay entirely based on that parasite that eats fish's tongues and like
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
hangs out in there, but if it happened to humans. Not terrible. Not great, but not terrible. Next up I have Donald Moffat as Clifford Anderson, who was in The Thing, Clear and Present Danger, Popeye, The Right Stuff, and The House Sitter, which is not the only House Sitter alumni we have on this cast list. Weird enough. um, Next up, I have Angela Patton as Hattie Anderson, who was in Groundhog Day, Flatliners, the 1997 Lolita. I'm not sure about the string of Lolita films because I typically don't go in for those, so I
There are
put the year
three.
down on
They're
that.
all really bad adaptations of that book.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would find it hard to make a good adaptation of that book.
Yeah, none of them
I
are
agree.
like violently anti Hubert Humphreys, the fucking main character, which is a very funny fucking name.
Well, the whole point of the book is that it's
He's
told from the
his perspective when he's a unreliable narrator, and yeah, a total fucking pedophile.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know how you manage to capture the power of doing that perspective in a film media.
Yeah,
I
the
can't think
fucking
of one off the
Stanley
top of my head.
Kubrick one tried to make it funny.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's a little funny.
it is a little funny that he tried to do that. It just doesn't
Yes.
work. Fucking Peter Sellers shows up and he does like a Peter Sellers voice.
My God. Oh, and she was also in Joe Dirt. Got to call out Joe
You
Dirt.
gotta
every
call
I
time
out
did
see
Joe
it.
see that and was going to call it out if you didn't.
And like
I mean,
one
and The
episode
Wedding
of
Singer.
And Quantum Leap. She was in one episode of Quantum Leap.
Next up I have Sean McCann as Chief Burnell, who was in Naked Lunch, Tommy Boy, Miracle,
God, I
Chicago.
fucking love Naked Lunch. The movie's so fucking weird.
Then we have Madchen Amick as Sarah Collins, who was in Twin Peaks. That's for Ryan.
Yeah, Shelley
Yeah.
Johnson. Hell
Dawson's
yeah.
Creek, The List, Mad Men, the film Priest, and a final shout out because I have to go on a tangent about this. She was in Gilmore Girls.
She was
which-
also in Riverdale as Betty's mom.
Oh,
there
tell
you
me, tell me your thoughts on Gilmore Girls. I fucking hate that show.
Fair.
So Kristen, my wife has
My wife.
been on a tear with Gilmore Girls, and this has been my first exposure to it. And I will admit, I despised it in the beginning. I think it's incredibly overwritten and ham-fisted with the jokes. But like a tenacious fungus, it's grown on me a little bit.
Hey, did you mention Sleepwalkers from Machen?
I did not.
Okay,
wait,
Sleepwalkers is a fucked up weird movie based on a Stephen King story about fucking cat people that are really into incest.
Wait, so Josh, how far into Gilmore Girls are you? Did you finish it?
We're on the fucking reunion series.
Oh, okay. So how did you feel about the the moral of the story, which is you too can come from a rich family and marry a rich boy and be happy because you're all rich.
But she doesn't marry the rich boy. She doesn't marry the rich boy at the end. She specifically turns down the proposal. I won't go into what they're doing in the reunion series, but
Good, because I haven't watched it. I'm assuming that they get married because he's a rich boy and she loves that money.
No, it's fine. It's sweet enough to give you diabetes, and like I said, overwritten, but the overwritten part does start managing to land some solid jokes
and
as time goes on.
Right. It is one of those shows that I can watch and laugh at the jokes and then be like, oh man, this show is sending awful messages. But it is funny.
My knee-jerk reaction every time I laughed was like, I'm not laughing at that. I was reading something on my phone. But the show is so fucking long, I was unable to keep up that charade. So it is what it is,
Yeah.
Roast me in the comments if you want about saying Gilmore Girls isn't terrible.
Wait, we have comments? Where?
I don't know. So
I will roast you personally.
That's perfectly
in the
fine
comments.
and deserved. Next up, I have Richard Jenkins as Agent Pizer, who is in Burn After Reading, Cabin in the Woods, Step Brothers, Bone Tomahawk, The Shape of Water, and Tom Cruise Jack Reacher film, the first one. You know who
Yeah,
this guy
you
is.
touched on the one I was going to mention.
Which one? Bone Tomahawk?
Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
One of the best pieces of conservative art that has come out in years.
One of the best cannibal movies ever made.
True. And then we're gonna do a speed round real quick. I have Richard B. Shull as Father Ritter, who is in Splash, House Sitter, Garbo Talks, and Clute. I don't even know if that's a misspelling.
Hell yeah! We've talked about Clute before.
There you go.
We had a previous movie we had the guy that played Clute in the movie Clute.
There you go. Then I have Jack Heller as Chief Parole Officer, who is in Beverly Hills Cop, Running Out of Time in Hollywood, Clean of the Lot, and a bunch of TV. And then finally on my list, I have Andrew Miller as Deputy Myers, who is in Cube.
Hell
Cube
yeah,
shout
Cube
out there.
Fucking rules.
Circles, Nothing, did some writing as well, and did some writing as well, which includes the TV made for TV Tremors movie in 2018. So
did we miss Florence Stanley?
Oh, we did. I must have just skipped right over her name. My bad.
Okay, cool, because I got
Florence Stanley as Ma Furpo, who is in Bulworth, Down with Love, a Goofy movie, did a voice in the Atlantis movies, and did a lot of TV, including Malcolm in the Middle.
And Dinosaurs.
And dinosaurs. Yep. Okay, yeah. Rich got me. That was what I was going to
Yeah, and Dinosaurs.
And Dinosaurs. And My Two Dads.
I did see the My Two Dads, yeah.
And of course, we are way overdue for, you guessed it, an ad break.
Because these are never short.
Nope. We go off on tangents on housekeeping all the time. Supposed to just be a little introductory, but you know what? It's taken on a life of its own.
Oh, you didn't mention John Aston. He was in Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, a really weird movie starring what's his face? The guy from The Fly. Goldblum.
Okay, I was gonna say, like that Fly, the second one?
Yes. Well, the first remake, not the second remake of the first Fly.
There you go. All right, that's housekeeping, and here are some ads.
I wonder how much it would cost to get like Raytheon to sponsor us.
For them? Not much.
Wait, did you say Raytheon?
Yeah, like Raytheon. Like,
okay,
let's bomb some brown people, I guess.
They don't need advertising.
Yeah.
If all of your work is done through military contracts, I don't think commercials work.
Yo, you don't know. We might have a 5-star general like just listening to us, and he's just like, you know what?
That's grounds for a court-martial. That's grounds for a court-martial, sir. Please turn this off. Get back to pointing at dots on a map dramatically. I'm assuming that's what generals do.
And moving miniatures around like Risk.
Oh yeah.
Or a Warhammer.
Yeah.
Or it's got to be like a little Warhammer.
It's got to be a Warhammer. There's got to be some D6 involved.
It's got to be a fucking brick of D6 involved.
I have 22 shots.
Okay, so we can actually start talking about this film. We get an opening credits roll over a snowy diorama. Camera pans to a gridlocked street with people shopping and general Christmas shit going on. Up to and including a Salvation Army Santa. Are those still a thing?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I saw one outside of the shop, right?
Huh.
Yeah, don't give your money to them, people. Give it to literally anything else.
Yeah, they're an army. I actually forget. I know the conventional wisdom is like they're apparently a bad charity, but I can't recall why.
It's because they refuse to allow queer people into their homeless shelters without conversion to Christianity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked, man.
It's real fucked.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, there you go. Don't give to the fucking Salvation Army. So we see a wallet get dropped, and the camera sort of like follows this wallet as it just gets kicked by numerous people. Until it gets kicked down a set of subway steps, and we see Nicolas Cage, who picks it up and finds it filled with $100 bills, which is just, I mean, have you guys ever found a lost wallet?
Yeah, I did. I found one in the bathroom at work. It ended up being one of the other servers, but I did,
So,
and it had like $1,000 in there.
Yeah,
oh
I mean,
shit,
no, but I did see the episode of Doug where he finds a purse that has like $10,931.
Doug the cartoon?
Doug
Yeah,
the
dum
cartoon.
dum
It was
dum dum
yeah,
dum dum
it
dum
was like a
dum dum dum.
morality episode of like what should Doug do? Should he
They
keep the
all
money?
were. Here's something they don't tell you in school. Every episode of Doug was a morality tale.
Well, yeah.
Also, at the time Doug came out, that is a wildly higher value worth of money than it would be if you found that today.
Yeah,
Yeah, the whole point
Jesus.
of it was he
that's some
found the
walking around
money.
money.
He found the money, he turned it into the police. Nobody claimed it in 30 days, so they gave him the money because there's like nobody took it, so this money is yours. You found it. And then he finds out whose it is like a day later.
So he keeps the money and puts himself through college.
Oh God, he didn't. He should have. Student
So
loans are expensive, Doug.
So it's great that you mentioned that it's a moral story, because this is exactly what happens in short form with Nick Cage, because he sees all the hundreds, but then proceeds to see pictures of family and kids and pets, and struggles with, but ultimately decides not to take the cash. And in the very next scene, he is at confession. Um, where the priest instantly recognizes his voice and calls him out for lying about how long it's been since his last confession, which is exactly why I never lied back when I went to confession as to how long it had been,
Yeah,
for
priests
fear of
know.
this exact scenario occurring. um so he tells the story about the wallet and how he did mail it back, but he felt tempted to take the money. The priest is completely checked out doing a crossword puzzle. Um, and Bill is worried about his younger brothers, and the priest tells them that they're getting paroled early due to overcrowding in prison. At which point we get a funny scene where he storms out of the confessional, like bangs on the door for the little room that the priest sits in, so he can take the newspaper from him and read this himself.
Yeah.
Um, Also, even in 94, overcrowding in prisons. Um, so we cut at this point to Dave and Alvin. This is Lovitz and Carvey's characters talking about dinosaurs to the parole board. It's relatively funny. But we do learn that Dave is like a compulsive liar and Alvin is a kleptomaniac. They're literally doing both of those things during this parole hearing. But they're released, and Bill greets them at the gate, and starts off by saying, "Whatever you're about to ask me, no." The answer is no. And then they go and get in Bill's shitty car, which is preceded by a funny joke where they're like, "Wow, this neighborhood's really gone to shit. They're just leaving, like people are abandoning cars here." He's like, "That's my car. That's my vehicle." um and so like this actually sets up these characters pretty well, because this movie is just filled with caricatures of human beings as opposed to real human beings. And nowhere is this more demonstrably displayed than with the characters of Dave and Alvin. um they stop to get snacks on the way home, and Bill sees Alvin just emptying out the cash register while nobody's looking, which is basically what anytime people turn their back, Alvin is just stuffing his pockets filled with shit.
It's the best bit in the movie.
It is really funny. So Bill runs in and stops him, makes him put all the money back, but the cops still roll up on them and pull their guns. Bill proceeds to pretend to be an off-duty detective, and basically gets the cops to leave so that they can make their escape. So they end up back at Ma Furpo's, where they're eating dinner. and Dave and Alvin are trying to play off their conviction. But again, there's a bunch of funny lines here, like Ma Furpo being like, I missed when you guys were home. We always had so much nice new stuff like VCR players and new TVs and shit. um, but Ma finds a letter in Dave's coat or something like that he had been trying to read to Bill in the car ride home. If I remember correctly, Bill takes the first letter directly from Dave and throws it out the window, and Dave's like, thankfully I made copies. And Ma reads the letter, which is ostensibly from another inmate asking them to look up his daughter in Pennsylvania and beg her to come and see him before he dies. Their mom is touched by the letter. And the letter ends with a very violent threat if they don't do it, like if Dave doesn't go through with this promise he made to this other inmate, if he got out.
I believe it's specifically, I will rip your head off and shit down your throat.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that's where I first realized, because at first I thought this was like kind of like a kid's movie, and it is not a kid's movie.
No.
No, I was actually surprised to see the PG-13 when I was doing my notes. I was like,
I wasn't looking at the rating, but I was kind of like, I was thinking like, oh, this is going to be like a first kid kind of movie. You know what I mean? Like something starring Sinbad in 1995.
Or like a Blank Check type of deal.
Yeah.
Actually, I fucking love Blank Check. That movie rules.
So Bill is unmoved by this letter and this story, and he goes to work where he is the manager of a restaurant. Dave shows up in the middle of his shift, which is really funny. He, like, grabs a roll off of the table that Bill is talking to and starts buttering it and eating it right in front of him. And Bill pulls him aside and asks him what the hell he's doing. And Dave's like, oh, a bunch of cops are showing up to arrest you because you dropped your wallet at the store where Alvin was stealing shit from the register. So we got to get the fuck out of here. They're here to arrest you. So they run out the back of the restaurant where Alvin has borrowed a car, and they talk Bill into fleeing with them. So Dave, they stop at a gas station in New Jersey. So shout out there. And they did swing through our state apparently on their run from New York.
Although I don't know if you noticed this, it seemed like that gas station was self-service, which is canonically incorrect for New Jersey.
Yeah, we don't pump our own gas. Are you kidding me?
What do we?
I don't even know how to.
Yeah, pump my own gas. What am I, a peasant?
I mean, look, from living not in New Jersey for 6 years, I miss pumping my own gas. I hate waiting for the person because if they're like slow or something, I'm sitting there like, come on, I got shit to do.
Nah, I love it. Especially if it's raining or snowing or whatever. Those guys are more reliable than the post office these days.
This is true. Yeah. Hey-o.
But yeah, every time I go out of New Jersey, it's like a rock, paper, scissors tournament to see who has to try and figure out how to pump gas.
Oh, if you're ever out with me, I'll do it. I love pumping gas.
I've done it before, but I not enough times to ever be confident with it. In fact, fun story from getting gas in New Jersey. Back when I was living somewhere where I had to like mow the lawn and everything like that, I had to get canisters of gas for the lawnmower. And the first time I went with it, like I filled up my car and then I was like, I need this filled up too. And the guy was like, okay, go for it. And I was like, could you do it? Because I do not know how. So yeah, that was fun. They call home and Dave makes the call to Ma Furpo, and you can tell from Dave, even just from this short period of time with the character, that he is constantly scheming with everything that he says and how he says it. So the phone call comes across as like very staged on his end. But they get off the phone with mom and go to continue their journey. I do have a little call out here. We get a cameo of the very famous, probably the most famous cover of the Weekly World News. If you're not familiar with it,
Oh, I
it's
didn't
like
catch it. Was it the Bat Boy?
of course it was Bat Boy.
All right, I love the Bat Boy.
Everybody loves Bat Boy.
I
But if
don't know
you're
if I've
not,
ever. I don't know if I'm familiar with Bat Boy.
You don't know Bat Boy?
What is
Bat
it?
Boy is the most famous cover. Just Google Bat Boy Weekly World News.
I've
so
seen
it's
this.
like-
Okay.
It's between that and Bigfoot Made Me His Love Slave, are like the two that always pop up in
Yes.
movies.
Also,
I've
think
seen this.
I have to dig through the attic of my childhood home. I'm almost positive I have the Bat Boy issue of
Oh
Weekly
hell
World
yeah,
News
that might be
somewhere.
worth like $6.
It might
There
be.
was a Bat Boy the musical.
I
Yeah,
used
people
to
love the Bat Boy.
I used to buy Weekly World News. That was my Mad magazine. Every time I saw someplace that had it, I was like, I gotta get this. This shit is so fucking funny.
Garden
anyway.
of Eden found. U.S. grows new tree from seed. Man is all thumbs. Termites eat the Eiffel Tower.
Ooh, are we gonna turn into a Weekly World News podcast now?
That would be fun.
That would be fun. We'll
Are
just-
they still going? Is that
No,
still a
they
thing?
haven't had a print publication for like 10 or 15 years now.
Ah, that's a bummer.
I think they might still
Wait,
have
wait,
like
hang
online
on.
shit.
Yeah, because there is an editor in chief.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they still do like a website, but it's just not the same.
It doesn't work as that, in my opinion. You're up against too many big juggernauts. That's the thing that you had over the Onion, is that you were a print publication. You know
Onion
what I mean?
started out as a print publication too.
When did they go full?
They went
before?
digital in like 2006.
Hmm.
Or something like that. It was like when I was in middle school or high school.
Gotcha. So so I had to call out the Bat Boy Weekly World News cameo.
So just real quick before we shut up about Weekly World News, it does still exist. It is not in print. It is email only. You can sign up for free, and the little blurb they write about it is the government agencies are always conspiring to prevent us from getting our stories out, but rest assured we will never let anyone stop us from delivering our readers the truth.
It was 2013 when The Onion stopped publishing. So actually right around the same time as Weekly World News.
I gotta see if there's some collector, if I could buy a bunch of back issues.
Of The Onion, yeah.
No, the Weekly World News.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll leave the Onion collecting to somebody
You
else.
should check some of like the antique malls around here that usually
I
have a bunch of
should.
dudes that have fucking bundles of newspapers and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, newspapers do make more sense to collect than Weekly World News.
No,
though.
not to me. Not at all.
I just want to get a bunch of them and put them in frames and hang them around my house.
If you
I
find
framed
the,
this when they found the Bat Boy.
if you find the Bigfoot Made Me His Love Slave issue, I will definitely get that bad boy framed. I'll spend way too much on a nice frame for that.
I'll look into it because now I'm curious. So when they get back in the car, Dave pitches going to PA to do this favor for their friend, while they're laying low, two birds, one stone type situation. Bill is a little suspicious that this whole thing is an elaborate setup by Dave. Spoiler alert, it is, but they do eventually convince Bill, and they set out and arrive in Paradise, Pennsylvania. Is this a real place?
I don't know. I'll Google Maps it right now.
That's bold. Going directly to
Paradise,
a real map.
PA.
And it exists?
Yeah, Paradise, PA. It is. Let's see. It's actually, we could drive here. It is basically right in between Philadelphia and Lancaster.
Maybe we'll have to do a pod vacation next winter.
It is literally, there's a main road. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 roads in Paradise.
Is there a bank?
It's probably a credit union.
Nice.
Let me see if I can find a bank in Paradise. There is not, but there. Well, Bank of Bird in Hand, Paradise branch.
Nice.
Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
So, that'd be so funny to
This
visit
place
there.
seems like it sort of fucks, actually.
to show up there and people are like, oh, are you vacationing here? Or like, yeah, we're really big fans of Trapped in Paradise. And they're
Oh,
gonna
you
be
mean
like,
that movie that used like 100 tons of fucking instant
potato
mashed
flicks.
potatoes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the response would be, we literally never get that. Oh shit, if we do go, we just have to we have to go find where we can buy in bulk DVD copies of this film and just hand them out to all the
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
live there. God, that would be our pivot to super annoying YouTubers.
Oh man, we are now Mr. Beast.
Oh no, we can't get into Mr. Beast's territory. He'll break our fucking ankles.
Yeah, he might. He might.
That
It
man's
might-
trying to start a fucking company town. He'll do it.
No, Ryan,
murder us.
he'll just fix your eyesight.
Well, that's ironic because all of his thumbnails, he looks completely dead behind the eyes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, he does.
that's the same look you get from a shark. So just as Bill is advising Dave and Alvin to be inconspicuous, they barely avoid hitting a horse cop, a cop on a horse, which rears and bucks the cop off. This is where we get just like the poorest aging of this film, because in the next 15 minutes, the R word is used several times in like rapid succession. So yeah, the cops are very understanding and nice about the whole thing. They ask the police officers about the woman that they're looking for, whose name is Sarah. That's the daughter of this inmate who wrote the letter. And they say there's only one Sarah in town, but it's a different last name than what you're saying, and she works at the local bank. So they go in to try and find her. This is a great scene with Alvin stealing everything in sight. First, the take one pen cup, he just empties all of them directly into his pockets. And I think he finally gets caught by Sarah when he literally takes a bite out of a gingerbread ornament on a Christmas tree in the lobby.
I mean, what else are they there for? Don't waste food.
They're for the children, as Sarah
I'm
rightly
the children.
points out.
We're all children of God.
We're all children of Wu-Tang.
There you
And
go.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
They
Correct.
are. So, while Alvin's walking around stealing shit, Dave and Bill are both noticing
That there's an
This-
ad break coming up.
yeah,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
They did
Look-
notice that.
Look at that.
they spotted that coming before I did. So kudos to them. So here's an ad break.
God, it's like one of my top 10 favorite things to do is when you're like intently describing a scene, just being like, yes, it's ad time. I'm going to get them.
You always sneak it up on me because I'm usually watching the clock.
Yeah, but you're like in it. You're like
I am.
you're the anchor of this podcast. So it's like I kind of have to just, throw it in there.
No, it's good. I'm pedantic about the details, so it helps. It's very useful. Also, if you hate those ads and want to see me stop getting interrupted when I'm spoon feeding you the plot of a film, just give us $1 on our Patreon and it'll stop. It's fine.
Why not give us $1?
Yeah, why not $1?
That's our company motto. So
I did start an LLC, yes. For tax purposes.
of course,
I'm very badly in debt.
you have to limit those liabilities and quit transferring your personal debt to the company. I meant to mention that to you.
Why have a company then?
Sorry, that just reminded me of all of those like TikTok and Twitter, like you got to start thinking like a rich person. What you got to do is you got to start an LLC in your own name, and then boom, everything you buy is a business expense. I'm like, that's fucking not how that works.
That's not
Why
how
are
that
you telling
works.
people to do that? They're like, you immediately qualify for a $5,000 business loan. I was like, stop telling people to do this.
No, I think my favorite thing is when you go to watch like YouTube now, all of the ads are just like, did you know you can make so much money on Amazon by not even having any physical material? And then they go into drop shipping for like 4 minutes.
Oh yeah. Yep. Well, it's better than what Twitter's got going on currently, because now the only advertisers on there are just straight up ripping off pictures of celebrities to sell like metabolism gummies and shit. It's
Oh, that's what you're
amazing.
getting? I'm getting like fucking as seen on TV bullshit, but it's really unhinged products. Like, for example, the jacking pants. It's a pair of sweatpants with, easy access for jacking.
Oh, just the massive cutout. It's a
Wait,
pair of
that's
Got
a
a massive
thing?
cutout, yeah.
Hold
it's,
on,
it's
the
it's a pair of
jacking
sweatpants that's
pants.
literally cut
It's
from
like
the
it's dickless
waistband to the
chaps.
taint. It's
Oh
amazing.
my God, this
Dickless chaps.
I was gonna get you guys each a pair of those for Christmas.
Yeah, I've seen that fucking ad every time I've gotten on Twitter for the past like 2 weeks.
Ugh, they're so bad. They're so bad these days. But I do love that Twitter gets the same. I do love that we have higher quality advertisers than Twitter does at this point.
it's a low bar.
Shit, man. They do better just with Google AdSense, but all those
Yeah.
people pulled the contracts.
Rich, you buying some jacking pants? I see you typing over there.
Yeah, I am.
That's just his credit card number. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Dave and Bill Furpo notice that this is like the least secure bank on the face of the planet. There is a guard who's like 100 years old and asleep, very asleep. In fact, he might be dead because we never see that guard at any point in the film.
No, like, yeah, it's
Pretty amazing. They have security cameras, but the wires are just cut and dangling.
it's
pretty
the greatest
fantastic.
bank ever. And it gets better later on. I won't spoil anything, but it's one of my favorite scenes of the movie. So,
but yeah, so Sarah calls out Alvin, makes him put back all the stolen pens. And this is where we get another use of the R word when Bill apologizes for Alvin's behavior. And Dave tries to talk Bill into robbing this obviously very easy to hit bank. Bill doesn't want to, tells him to knock it off. Besides, this is a tiny local bank. It's not going to have any money in the vault. And of course, as soon as he says that, whatchamacallit, money truck. What are those trucks called?
like a Brinks truck.
Vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brinks trucks. Guys walk in with literal bags of money and then declare out loud for everybody to hear that it's a delivery of $275,000.
Now,
Very
I
disappointed
have
that
a,
there wasn't the dollar sign on those bags,
Yeah.
though.
I have a question for you guys because it's never really said unless I missed it. Is Nick Cage like a recovering criminal? Because I feel like they're trying to get that across.
It's heavily implied. It's
Yeah.
never
Okay.
outright stated.
I didn't know it was outright because like from the wallet in the beginning and like the way that he kind of takes charge of this spoiler alert robbery, like I didn't like I had thought that's what they were trying to get across, but I wasn't positive. So
Yeah, I thought it was obvious enough because like Rich just alluded to, after this when they leave, Bill is talked into robbing this bank incredibly easily. So like he puts up a fight a little bit as they're driving away. He's like, we don't even have any guns or anything like that. And they're like, fun fact, Alvin borrowed this car from this guy in the neighborhood. And they're like, that guy who sold a bunch of illegal guns? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, so you're saying there's probably guns in the trunk? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And
Yeah, probably.
they stop and get out and look, and sure enough, the trunk is filled not only with shotguns and pistols, but fucking grenades.
I was shout out the grenades. Just because we just watched Lord of Wars, so
It was really over the top. It's so funny. Like they open the trunk and it's got that like the nested foam and it's just an arsenal. It looks like your trunk in like in like a Grand Theft Auto game or some shit.
Yeah. It looks
Funny
like
stuff.
the fucking Terminator's trunk.
Yeah, there you go. So the boys end up at a local convenience store, where we get one of the best scenes of Alvin stealing shit. He's literally just walking around the store, picking stuff up and shoving it in his coat. The best bit though is he just cracks open a bag or a box and bag of Captain Crunch to just dig through it, spilling cereal all over the floor just to get the toy out of it, the little fucking prize. And then keeps trying to walk, but he's crunching cereal loudly underfoot. And he's doing it super slow, as if that makes it sneakier.
I didn't catch what the toy was. I didn't notice, but I was assuming it was just a Captain Crunch whistle, which he could use to phone freak.
No, it honestly, it looked like a little like floppy plastic reindeer. Like you remember those toys with the bases where if you press the base up, it collapsed, and when you let the base go, it pulled the string inside all the pieces.
Yeah. They're one of
That's
like
what it looked like
the most simple type of it's not automata. There's another word for that type of toy that's similar.
Yeah, no, in a post-apocalyptic society, I will just learn how to make those out of wood and twine.
Well, I mean, kids got to be entertained somehow. I got to be entertained somehow.
I'll die in the first week before I finish my first prototype.
Damn it.
Guaranteed. So, but yeah, they buy clothes to disguise themselves. Bill is trying to stop Alvin from getting them pinched for, like petty theft right before they go and try and rob a bank. They steal a car as well. And then we get to the scene of the bank robbery, which is hilarious. And there's a lot of unhinged Nick Cage throughout the course of this film. It's just like sprinkled in though, kind of perfectly.
Like a nice garnish.
Like chocolate chips in a chocolate chip cookie. You know what I mean? But perfectly spaced. And this is one of the first ones when they go in. So Alvin is the getaway driver. They leave him in the vehicle. Dave and Bill are the ones that go in. They've got like ski masks and goofy sunglasses on, and Bill has a shotgun. And so they go in, stick up everybody in the bank. I think the guard continues to sleep. I don't even
he does not wake up
for the robbery. Bill is looking for somebody who has the key, as he shouts out, but it turns out that the only the president of the bank has the key, and he's on lunch break. We learn this from his wife, who is in the bank for whatever reason,
banking.
But going to the
also
bank
the
that
unhinged...
your husband is the president of while he's on lunch break makes zero sense.
Yeah,
go to lunch with him.
But the unhinged Nick Cage in this, sort of sounds like the scene where he's burning alive in Kick-Ass.
Yes.
If you need to like know yes, what kind of voice you're getting.
Yeah. He is doing kind of a voice for most of this, but it's like not heavy enough that you could really pick it out like a Vampire's Kiss or like I'm drawing a blank on another one where he's just fucking Peggy Sue.
My Huang.
My Huang. You're throbbing Thunderhammer.
It's completely overshadowed by Dana Carvey's refusal to talk like a normal human.
Yes,
it's awesome. But then like as I'm watching this movie, I'm just like, do I even know what Dana Carvey sounds like normally? Because he's always doing a voice.
That's true, actually.
I think the only time I've ever heard him speak normally is in This Is Spinal Tap when he says, "Come on, mime is money."
So Bill has to take the bank president's wife across the street to the diner where the bank president is having lunch, leaving Dave to deal with the hostages. This is a pretty good bit too. Dave leads them in a song. They all have their hands up, and he's like, raise your hands if this is your first bank robbery, and then realizes they all have their hands up, and he's like, all right, everybody put your hands down, raise your hand if this is your first bank robbery. All the hands go back up. He leads them in a little like yoga and shit. It's a funny bit. I'll give this movie that.
This movie has funny bits in it.
It does. It's just not like a sustained funny.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's like nothing about it is sustained, but in 5-minute chunks, this movie is very funny.
Which, this is another funny bit. Bill is trying to navigate the very crowded diner with the bank president's wife until finally he gives up and shouts out that he's robbing the diner. He was like, this is a robbery. And they're like, the waitress goes to the cash register. He's like, where are you going? She's like, to get the money for the robbery. He's like, no, I'm robbing the bank. And so he gets everybody up from the diner, marches them all across the street to the bank. And so doubling their amount of hostages in the bank. It's pretty slapstick. It gave me a chuckle.
Yeah, there's like, I feel like that bit could have been funnier. There was a germ of an excellent idea there that just wasn't capitalized upon well enough.
I think the idea was all there. I just think like it would have been more at home in like a Leslie Nielsen film.
Yeah, right, and if they added like 2 more locations.
I mean, with the Leslie Nielsen film, I feel like we would have to have something stupider happening in the background. Like he's got all these hostages, but there's a guy in a scuba suit for no apparent reason in the back.
That's
but also in a Leslie Nielsen movie, I feel like there'd be 2 diners right next to each other. They'd go to the first diner, do that exact scene, march everyone out. The bank manager's not there because then they pan over and there is a second diner right next to it. And then he's there, and then they march all of those people over too. And then the bank is overcrowded, and then that's where you have Scuba Guy.
All right, there you go. We got another movie.
Yeah. See? Making movies ain't hard.
Not those kinds of movies. You could put a bunch of dipshits like us in the writer's room, and we're like, we got this. We're just gonna keep being stupid till somebody stops us.
Yeah, listen. All we really need is a guy in a scuba suit, a vagina joke where somebody grabs a stuffed beaver, and Weird Al Yankovic, and we got a movie.
Yeah, we could make that happen. So we're all finally back in the bank. So I love this in this super low security bank. They get the vault open and Bill sprays like a little thing of mist to reveal that there are laser tripwires leading into the vault. And so he's like, haha, I will step over this laser in a bank where none of the rest of the security works to load the bags with cash. And then he accidentally triggers it by carrying the bags of money too low to the ground and tripping the laser, which sets off the alarm, and they have to flee. Alvin, of course, accidentally drives the car away right before the boys run out onto the street with the bags of money. He causes a huge pileup on the main street of this town. And Bill and Dave have to run down side streets till finally they manage to flag down Alvin and get in the vehicle and make good their escape.
It's kind of smacks of like a Raising Arizona bit, but not as well shot.
Yeah, I can see that. I personally enjoyed that bit though.
Oh yeah.
Because he did it twice too. It was he sped off the first time, and then they're running to get into the car, and then he speeds off again.
Yeah, it's like he slammed on the brakes, caused the pileup, which caused him to panic and take off again. And when they're getting back into the car, when they're down the abandoned side street, they're like, Bill's like, is he going to do it again? Is he going to do it again? And I do think that's probably a good cliffhanger. We can pick up again next time, right after the completion of this bank heist.
A heist it was.
Not yet. No, it had my attention up to and through this point. So I think we're off to a decent start with this one.
And we put this one off to watch a good movie.
We did. And this
Yeah.
wasn't that bad.
No,
this
this was
wasn't that
not.
bad.
We thought this was going to be awful. We're looking. We're like, oh man, 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. You see, like Rotten Tomatoes cannot be trusted with Nick Cage
No,
movies.
absolutely not. It can't be trusted in general.
But especially Nick Cage movies.
Yeah. Isn't G-Force rated higher than this?
I think G-Force is rated higher than fucking Between Worlds.
Oh, that's
Absolutely
fucking wild.
Look, here's the thing. The critics are paid for and the masses are idiots. So you can't trust your reviews from any angle at this point.
So, Hollywood, why don't you pay us so we can be the paid for idiots?
Yeah. We'll give everything a fucking thumbs up. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
shit
looking
talk
this
it,
up
but
now.
we'll still give it the thumbs up.
Yeah. This thing was a total piece of dog shit. Get your tickets here using
Thumbs
code Cage Fight Pod at checkout.
All right, so real quick, this has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. G-Force has a 22% and a 40% audience score.
Jesus Christ.
Between Worlds, I did not give enough credit to. It does only have 32%, but guess what its audience score is? It gives me a little bit
60?
It's 80.
Oh,
hell
yeah.
This gives me faith.
The masses, I apologize. You're all smart.
You are all
attractive
smart people.
and have great
Every
taste
single
in
one
films.
of you is a full-grown baby genius.
You're
now
so
I'm
much
just
better
curious. I have to see
at
what.
movie criticism than all of those dullers.
No,
that
never
surround
mind.
you.
Kill Chain, they gave 36%. Fuck you. You're
fucking
dumb.
idiot.
You're fucking idiots.
Eat shit and
You're
die.
all so dumb.
The masses are too fickle. All right. Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good bow on this one. If you're dying for additional Cage Fight podcast content while you're waiting for the next episode to come out, feel free to interact with us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at cagefight_pod for as long as that holds out. We have a Patreon. Rich is the keeper of that URL. That's so simple. I cannot remember it.
Patreon.com/Nick Cage Fight. Josh and I did a guest spot on another Nick Cage podcast, and that's going up there in the next couple of days.
It was very funny. They did a bye-bye for me.
Yes, we did do a bye-bye. And when I say the next couple of days, I mean like from now, not from when you're listening to it. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be up.
We are eventually going to release it, I think, on the free timeline.
Well, yeah, but I want to give the pay pigs a little bit of slack.
Yeah,
first.
give them the heads up on it. Also, those guys were a lot of fun. So shout out to our direct competitors. Listen to us first, but when you're done one of our episodes, click over to theirs. They got a good thing going.
Yeah, and we're invited back apparently.
Yeah,
I'll be there this time.
By the way, their podcast is called Cage Match. So very similar, but we settled out of court over copyright infringement. So
is there like a third one that's called I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings?
That would have been so good.
There's apparently a lot of them. One of the things that they mentioned while we were on their podcast is they're getting guest spots from every other Nick Cage podcast.
Hell yeah. I'm going to start another one because that name just popped up. I was like, oh shit, that's really good. I'm going to individually review all these movies again by myself.
Yeah, that, or we could call it like To Cage a Mockingbird.
There you go. Yeah, we really jumped off quick on this one. And all of our other ideas are so funny.
Yeah, we were just like, Nick Cage Fight, that's fine. And meanwhile, we are just shitting out gold with Between a Rourke and a Hard Place and Willem Defender Dafoe.
Yeah. And our next side project, Weekly World Reviews.
Hey, I thought the Mickey Rourke one we were going to do was The Hand That Works the Cradle.
Or Rourkeabye Baby.
Baby. There's a lot of Rourke.
We will Rourke you. There's a lot of options with Rourke.
Yeah, Rourke of Ages. Yeah.
Schoolhouse Rourke. God damn it. We could do this all goddamn day. So anyway, yeah, that's that's gonna do it for us this time. Please tune in next time where we'll wrap up Trapped in Paradise. And as always, dear listeners, please remember we appreciate you.